Today, we're talking about how to set up the perfect keybinds in Guild Wars 2. Customizing your keybinds in Guild Wars 2 is one of the best things you can do to make your gameplay smoother, more fluid, and more fun. The easier and faster that you can mash your buttons, the better time you're going to have. But Guild Wars 2 has a lot of skills you need to press, and honestly, the default keybinds when you first start the game are not fantastic. And speaking from experience, it's overwhelming not knowing where to start. Don't worry though, today I'm going to walk you through exactly how you should customize your keybinds, show you how I've set mine up, and leave you with a recommended set of keybinds if you're starting completely from scratch. Let's dive in. When you first boot up Guild Wars 2, your skills are going to be set from 1 to 0 on your number keys. Find this with the fact that you move your character with WASD, there's no chance in hell you're pressing all your skills without having to move your hand, especially if you have tiny baby hands like me. One of the keys to getting good at Guild Wars 2, and all in all just making it more fun, is always being in control of your character. You always need to be ready to dodge in any direction. You need to move out of damaging AoEs, you need to chase after your target so you can keep attacking. Every moment you're not in full control of your character, you increase your chance of dying. Even if you're not moving your hand over to the far corners of your keyboard, you may end up just manually clicking your skills and dragging the ground target wherever you need it to go. This is slower, less accurate, and way harder to actually pull off. With a few simple changes, we can completely transform these default keybinds from being nearly unusable to being perfect in every way. We won't even need to touch a fancy MMO mouse. If you press F11 to bring up your in-game options, go to the controls menu on the left-hand side, and voila! We can now customize our keybinds. Here we can simply select the action we want to rebind, press whichever key we want to swap it to, and we're good to go. Now to do some actual rebinding. First up, having weapon skills on the 1 to 5 keys isn't actually too bad. They're right above WASD, well within reach. Outstanding. Utility skills are another matter though. Unless you've got Andre hands, you aren't pressing the 6 through 0 keys without moving your hand. Now I recommend taking your utility skills and rebinding them to Q, E, R, F, and C. This means they'll be right next to your movement keys, and now you have much easier access to your skills, and it is a drastic improvement. This still leaves us with our profession skills, which are still a bit of a problem being on our function keys. To make this much easier, what we're going to do is either assign the Shift or Control button plus Q, E, R, F, and C. This makes it so you can simply press the Shift or Control button and Q, E, R, F, C, and you get to have access to every single one of your profession skills. Being able to use Shift or Control to add to any of our keybinds does open up a ton of options for you. With this, everything is still centered around your movement skills. We don't need to move our hands at all, and we retain perfect control of our character. This is just a suggestion though, so tinker with it to your heart's content, but I think it's a very good suggestion for everyone to start with, and it does not need a fancy MMO mouse to make this work. Now, keybinds are an incredibly personal thing, and everyone is going to have something different that works for them. For me personally, I use the Razer Naga, which has 12 buttons on the side, which I can use for different skills. This means my keybinds are super specific to me, but I'll give you a rundown of what I use if you're curious. I have my auto attack assigned to the 6 button because this is where my thumb naturally rests. For some reason, everyone seems shocked that I have my dodge button bound to 1. It might have something to do with my first profession skill being moved from F1 to Shift and 1, but there's no way to know for sure. Either way, having dodge bound to 1 is a very short movement for my thumb, and I always know where it is. I have the remainder of my weapon skills assigned from 2 to 5, and the rest of the buttons I find rather difficult for my thumb to access really easily, so here I'll assign some of the lesser used things, like my dismount button on 7, I have my special action key assigned to 11, my interact button on 8, I don't think I have anything on 9, and I have about face assigned to 12 if I ever need to turn my camera around quickly. Like I mentioned before, I have my utility skills assigned to Q, E, R, F, and C, and I have my profession skills bound to Shift 1 through 5. This is reasonably similar to what I suggested before, just with all my weapon skills mostly shifted over to my right hand instead of it being on my left. I have a link to the Razer Naga I use in the description below if you are curious. Having extra buttons at your disposal does open up a whole host of other options for you to assign your keybinds, and you can truly customize it to your heart's content. I definitely recommend an MMO mouse for the sheer number of extra buttons, but you can get by without it at the end of the day. Now that our keybinds are drastically improved, it would be irresponsible of me to leave you without mentioning some of the most important settings that you should change. These will directly impact how you control your character and make the game so much more user-friendly. First, go to the ground targeting section in the options and set it it to fast with range indicator. This, in my opinion, is the best of the three. Normal means you first press a button to bring up your ground targeted AoE, and then you need to press it again to actually use the skill. 2 clicks for one skill is a travesty. Instant means your skill will instantly cast wherever you have your mouse located. Very fast, but quite hard to aim. Fast with range indicator will make it so that when you press and hold your button, you can see where the skill will land, and when you release it, it will cast. This gives you the best of both worlds by being able to see where your skill will land and tweak it if needed, while only still needing one button press. Turn melee attack assist off. Having this turned on means you won't be able to walk through enemies, which is incredibly annoying, and means you can't move freely in combat. Movement is the most important thing in Guild Wars 2's combat, so anything that gets in the way is a bad idea. Turn it off so you can leisurely stroll through enemies as you wish. Turn off double tap to evade. Always bind your dodge to a specific key. It's one of your most important skills, and having to double tap a movement key to use it is clunky. Make sure whatever you bind dodge to is easily accessible. Next, we'll turn off auto targeting. There are a lot of times where you'll want to use a movement skill without having an enemy targeted to move around faster. This is especially true in World vs. World and PvP, but it's also super useful in PvE. If you have this on, whenever you use a skill, it will force you to target a nearby enemy. Not great if you want to use a movement skill to run away from an enemy. Turn on lock ground target at max range. This makes it so you can't aim a targeted skill beyond its max range, only to have it fail to cast. This makes it super easy to fling a ground target at max range and easily see how far you can throw it. So there we have it. That is everything you need to customize your keybinds until your heart's content. The default keybinds in Guild Wars 2 are not fantastic and are going to leave you scrambling trying to reach your most important skills. So take the time, customize your skills to suit whatever it is you need and what is most comfortable to you, and I promise you're going to have a much better time playing Guild Wars 2. Combat is going to be easier, movement's going to be more fluid, and overall you are going to have more fun. I'm curious, so let us know in the comments below, what are your keybinds in Guild Wars 2? I always love to see what other people are using for their keybinds. And with that, I'll catch you all next time. Cheers.